One of the most important political failures that is happening in the nation right now is in a place that almost nobody expected to matter, which is Maine. And it didn't just embarrass the Democratic Party, it has just destroyed their clearest path to a Senate majority, while exposing an even bigger national problem, that being the House, that nobody in legacy media wants you to know, and they don't actually want to explain that. So fire up those headphones and lock in. I'm Will Begley, and this is the Will Talk Show. Let's see what they're hiding from you today. So here's the math, and it is pretty brutal for the Democrats. The Senate is split razor thin. Democrats need to flip a lot of seats in order to win the Senate and take control. And Maine was supposed to be their crown jewel, supposed to be their easiest one, because Republican Senator Susan Collins was seen as vulnerable. The state traditional leans to the left in high turnout years, and the seat was wide open for the taking in their eyes. But look at how the strategy completely implodes. Right when they need momentum, the campaign is fractured. The sudden vacuum left the local parties scrambling, and incredibly tight state deadlines to find a replacement candidate completely paralyzed their ground game. Now, in recent polling, it shows that Susan Collins is surging right back into the dominant position of this race, hitting 50% support in a lot of polls. Instead of playing the offense, the party is bleeding time and money trying to clean up a mess that they started themselves. So, to the Democrats, how do you plan to run a national strategy that fights itself harder than the Republican opposition? So to those Democrats, please, make that make sense. But if you think Maine is just one bad headline, you're missing the entire bigger picture. Here's where it gets genuinely terrifying for the Democratic Party. And I'm not talking about one opinion poll or individual candidates. I'm talking about structure, math, and the actual map. Democratic voters are heavily concentrated deep blue urban districts, packed into major cities, college towns, and coastal metros. They win a handful of districts by 80%, running up massive unnecessary margins. Meanwhile, they lose dozens of neighboring suburban and rural districts by five points, because Republican voters are distributed much more evenly across the nation than Democrats. So that system creates a massive statistical disruption to them. Data model groups like Sapsto's Crystal show that the map heavily punishes this, that it's going to take Democrats winning the national popular vote by almost 5% just to secure a tiny margin in the House. So if the national popular vote is 0.0, the floor completely collapses. Modeling suggests a dead even national environment translates into a massive gain of over 12 seats for the GOP because of how much more evenly we're spread out. They're not losing because their ideas are entirely unpopular. They're losing because their voters are just in the wrong areas. Are in the rules. We're in the districts. We're in the suburban areas, and there's a whole lot more of those than big urban cities. Our fault. Republicans, it is not our fault for having a more even map than the Democrats. And that is not an election problem, that's a structural problem. So here's what happens when you combine those two things. A Senate path collapses because a key state operation implodes. And a House map that structurally disadvantages you, even when you win millions of more individual voters and votes nationwide, you get a much bigger problem than a temporary election loss. You get an institutional lockout. So this means that one party is going to control the legislative calendar for 2 more years. One party is going to decide when things get voted on, and even if they get voted on, and what is going to die in committee. One party, over time, fills the federal judiciary. Presidency still matters, but the presidency alone cannot confirm judges, can't pass budgets, can't repeal laws, The power isn't just in Pennsylvania 1600 Avenue anymore. It's in the chambers and the courts. And if both the House and the Senate, move completely out of reach at the same time, the Democratic Party isn't just losing the next election cycle. They're losing the ability to govern, period. Here's the truth the legacy media won't tell you. This isn't just about whether you can like one party more than the other. It's about who controls the institutions for the next generation. And right now, looking at the map, looking at the math, looking at how these state races are actually playing out, the Democratic Party didn't just trip over one bad race in Maine. They walked into a structural trap that's been building for a decade. That's the 100% real news. So smash that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear this truth. And if you haven't joined the family yet, go and hit that subscribe button because less than a quarter of you are subscribed. So go and hit that subscribe button. Help us out. Today we're going to end with a Bible verse from Proverbs 16:9, which says, "A man's heart plans his ways, but the Lord directs his steps." God bless you. God bless this great Commonwealth of Kentucky. And God bless these United States of America. I'll see you next time on The Wheel Talk Show. Godspeed to all of you.